Welcome. This is AllMinucOne Quick Shots. Folks, things are getting real. Very, very real. People like myself have been trying to inform you about the realities of the world and what is actually going on. I'm not saying I'm perfect at it. In fact, I've been rather inconsistent about the content and or volume of content that is that I put out. But I have been reading and studying and watching things for a very long time, since my mid 20s at least, and I will be 40 very soon. And I am here to tell you for certain that when Joe Biden said build back better, he stole a phrase purposefully from the World Economic Forum to embrace the Great Reset. And now, complete and utter confirmation with John Kerry. John Kerry reveals Biden devotion to radical Great Reset movement. Now, this is on MSN.com, but it's actually an article from The Hill, if I'm not mistaken. And it says here, in June, elites at important international institutions such as the World Economic Forum and the United Nations launched a far-reaching campaign to reset the global economy, or as George Bush was fond of saying back in the day, the New World Order. The plan involves dramatically increasing the power of government through expansive new social programs like the Green New Deal, using vast regulatory schemes and government programs to coerce corporations into supporting left-wing causes. The two justifications for the proposal, which has been aptly named by supporters the Great Reset, are the COVID-19 pandemic, the short-term justification, and the so-called climate crisis caused by global warming, the long-term justification. As if these global corporate institutions are going to emit less carbon. No, they're just going to get rid of you or allow you not to travel or use energy or any of those things because they don't care about you, folks. They never have. They care about controlling you and making you a slave. In fact, they are going to make you a debt slave, which, frankly, people have been talking about for quite a long time, and most of you out there are too busy watching stupid things, television, Netflix, whatever it is, watching your sports, not paying attention to the reality, being brainwashed by the big corporate media. It is time to wake up, folks. This is coming. Those of you that voted for Joe Biden, maybe you wanted this. Many people do and did. They do not know what they are bringing upon themselves. They are useful idiots, misinformed, uninformed, thinking they are well-informed, suffering from the Dunning-Kruger effect. According to the Great Resetters supporters, the Great Reset supporters, the plan would fundamentally transform much of society, as the World Economic Forum head Klaus Schwab wrote back in June. The world must act jointly and swiftly to revamp all aspects of our society and economies, from education to social contract and working conditions. Every country from the United States to China must participate, and every industry from oil and gas to tech must be transformed. In short, we need a great reset of capitalism. What they're saying is we need to go to full-on communistic, Plato's Republic, or fascistic, if you will, because there's really not much difference in the end. Now, I know that the grand scheme of communism is to have a governmentless society. But folks, that will not happen. It will never happen. There will never be full-on anarchy. It is not how human beings structure their lives. We structure ourselves within a hierarchy. We do this within our homes. We do this with our families. Now, some of you may not. There are people out there who dad does not lead the household. Mom might not lead the household, and the kids run, roughshod over the parents. But that is how the modern parenting system goes, and the same foolish people that would like to see this happen because they need mommy and daddy government to rule their lives. I say no, and so should you. says internationally, the Great Reset has been backed by influential leaders, activists, academics, and institutions. In addition to the World Economic Forum and United Nations, the Great Reset movement counts among its International Monetary Fund, all globalist organizations. I've brought this up in numerous videos that I've made. Heads of state, Greenpeace, and CEOs and presidents of large corporations and financial institutions such as Microsoft and MasterCard. Why would they do this? Do you think it might increase their wealth, their power, their influence? But in America, most policymakers, including President-elect Joe Biden, he's not President-elect, folks. We have not certified the election, which is due on December 14th. It's coming up here soon. And not fully certified until January 6th. Let's think about our constitutional process instead of listening to the media as if they are the ones who run things. And largely, they're just a spokesperson for this globalist nonsense. It says, have been relatively quiet about the Great Reset. No, he hasn't. He's been saying, build back better. Leaving many to speculate what a Biden administration would do to support or oppose these radical plans. Well, you're a fool if you think so. In any case, you can read this whole thing. For the sake of time, I'm going to play this video of John Kerry himself.
Agreement. Are we expecting too much too soon from the new president, or is he going to deliver first day on these topics?
Well, Borger, great to be with you. Thank you very much, and I'm delighted to follow President Ursula von der Leyen, who I had the pleasure of working with when she was defense minister, and I think she's doing a great job as the president of the commission. The answer to your question is no, you're not expecting too much. And yes, it will happen. And I think it will happen with greater speed and with greater intensity than a lot of people might imagine. In effect, the citizens of the United States have just done a great reset. We've done a great reset. And it was a record level of voting. What astounds me is that as many people still voted for the level of chaos and breach of law and order and breaking the standards.
The level of chaos, the breaching of law and order, and the levels of chaos, whatever else he's saying, this infuriates me. This is insanity. What he's saying is that Donald Trump didn't go along with us because we've been trying to plan a global world government and ties and the Great Reset and global communism for the last 150 years. And it goes back that far, folks. But specifically, we can go back to the progressive era and the way we've been doing things since FDR. And they don't like their little cabal being broken up. You can see this when David Rockefeller speaks against the president of the United States or had in the past, and other people, the actions that they're taking. Other people have spoken against him that are in this little cabal, these plutocrats who think that they get to dictate to you how to live. They do not want you to be free. Folks, I do videos on this on occasion. I talk about many things, things I find important, sometimes news, largely from a classical liberal perspective, the perspective of liberty, allowing you to be free and economically prosperous. This, my friends, is Spyro Soukras, I believe is how you pronounce his last name. Obviously a Greek name, so forgive me in my mispronunciation. He has a great channel currently on YouTube. I'm going to play this little clip from the very beginning here, and I'll just stop it a few minutes.
Welcome, everyone. I'm Spiro. Thanks for tuning in. We've all heard the phrase, never let a good crisis go to waste, and I would say that applies even if the crisis is engineered. We've also heard the phrase, order out of chaos, which is a strategy that I believe we are seeing unfold before our eyes. Now, I'm sure that many of you are familiar with the Hegelian dialectic, which is problem, reaction, solution. If you have a goal of, let's say, global governance, you may not be able to just roll this out because you'll be met with resistance, and there may be little to no justification for this agenda. So you engineer a crisis. in this case, a global health pandemic, a scenario we have seen wargamed in documents such as the 2010 Rockefeller Lockstep document and Event 201, the tabletop exercise and simulation of a global coronavirus pandemic. That was sponsored by the World Economic Forum, Johns Hopkins, and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, which took place last October. This
right before the pandemic hit. Now, his entire channel, as far as I know, at least recently, is all about this. Also, I suggest you go check out Computing Forever. Dave Collin does an excellent job. He's been calling this out as well. Now, Dave's channel, because I've been following him for many years, has been primarily cultural and social commentary and talking about SJWs, that kind of stuff, how Hollywood's gone off the rails, all of those things. But since the lockdowns, he has been talking about the Great Reset and the World Economic Forum. Right here, we have a video right here. Klaus Schwab is not so great reset satire. I've been talking about this, of course. Many people are aware of this, but your friends and your family may not be, and you really need to share my video or other people's videos who do understand what's going on, who are paying attention, who know that this is not good for anyone. Now, you might think it's good. I mean, people in the Soviet Union wished to be in the Soviet Union. Not all of them. Many of them were murdered or put in gulags. Often, a large part of them were just starved out, such as the Holodomor, which happened in the Ukraine, where the kulaks were essentially small-time farmers that had just gained wealth out of serfdom. And I mean wealth like they owned a little plot of land and could farm just a little bit of extra stuff to sell it off. You know, for centuries before that, the Slavic peoples were slaves, the most prized slaves of all slaves in the world. That is where we get our English word slave from the word Slav. The word Slav itself just means people or language. And because they shared a common language. So I could see where they would want to bring in, potentially, their own form of slavery under communism, thinking it would do better for them. It didn't. And there are many people in Eastern Europe that understand these lessons. We have yet to understand them here in the West. So anyways, folks, that's all I got for this one, for this segment today. I hope you're starting to wise up. I hope you share this, like my content, all that good stuff. Check out what I'm putting out. I'm going to try and do a better job of getting my stuff on other platforms, because I promise you, the corporate overlords over at YouTube will eventually shut me down. They'll shut people like Dave Collin down. They'll shut people like Spiro down. We will be named conspiracy theorists. We will be called, compared to people like Alex Jones. I'm not trying to be hyperbolic, and I'm not trying to scare you. What I'm trying to do is inform you of the realities. These people do not want you to be free. They want you to be controlled. They do not care about you. They want to reduce the population of the world. They've written about it. They talk about it. It is all the global organizations. And from a biblical perspective, me being a Christian, I can tell you that this is exactly the thing that the book of Revelations talks about, as far as a one world government that will come and control all people. Maybe you don't believe the Bible. Fine. Maybe, like someone on Twitter the other day, you think that Jesus was a communist. That's because you've never read the Bible. Jesus was an anti-materialist, because the kingdom of God is not of this world. The kingdom of Satan is of this world. And this world is evil, folks. It is one of the primary differences between if you believe that the government should be your God, or if you believe that God is something outside of the government, between slavery and freedom. And I'm really disappointed with Americans. Americans are asking for slavery time and time again, especially the youth. It is quite sad. But anyways, it's time for me to get off here. This has been AllMinucOne Quick Shots, and I wish you all well.